Hello everyone, hey love lovers. Today we are doing a love situation. We're focusing solely on synastry. It's been a long time. I've been doing other things and I want to do this one right now so that I can feed my synastry audience, because after this I want to go back to the politics because I want to be looking at the dynamics between Gaza, the Palestine situation, and Israel, because that is interesting to me. So, but I must feed you too, not just feed myself. So let's look at Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom. I have had their synastry done for such a long time. Many of these celebrities, I have many synastry analysis that I have done. They just there, and then when I feel like I should post, then of course I post. But I'm posting now because they have announced their intentions to divorce or their separation. So, and the intention of doing this one is to show why they are separating from an astrological point of view, right? My name is Mita. This is Mita speaking, your astrology journalist, because I break the news before the news happen. Speaking of the news, I do have a synastry course that is coming up because you demanded it, you asked for it, and I am in the process of having everything done, finalized, and in just a few weeks time the course will start. But in the meantime, you can sign up in the wait list on my website and be one of the first ones to get notified when it's up and running. And there are people who are already signed up. That is huge, and that is thanks. It means that you really wanted to learn, right? And on top of this, I just wanted to clarify something, because there is a love lover who complained on one of the videos that I made. I had made a synastry analysis of Ashanti and Nelly, and this love lover complained and compared me to the rest of everyone on YouTube, and she said this is the worst synastry analysis I've ever heard on YouTube. And then, of course, I responded and explained to her that, hey, look, this is not a standard synastry that you are used to, because everyone is doing what I call standard. It is the most simplest synastry that everybody is doing, and which everybody can do, and which the softwares can easily do. But what I had done on that synastry, oh my gosh, was to look at the reason why they had broken up and gotten back together. And of course, it was quite a new style to you if you're listening right now, because you are not used to it, right? No one on YouTube was doing transits when it comes to celebrities until I came and I made transit, and then everybody else started to make transits, right? No one is looking at progressions when it comes to these synastry celebrity things, and no one is doing it, and because maybe they have not learned it. And this is why I offer the class. You can join the class so that you can learn how to do what I do, right? Because obviously I don't enjoy being compared like that without understanding the technique. Like, you don't understand the technique, you don't understand what I used, how I used it, but you come and then you compare me and say it's the worst, whereas it is actually pioneer and nobody is doing it, and nobody can do it for now, unless they're still learning, and then they will do it as they are doing now, the transits, whereas no one was doing that until I did it, right? So of course I don't like to be explaining myself, but then I have to explain myself, because if I don't defend myself or my work, then my work will be critic for no apparent reason. And I do have pride in my work, because my work is legit. I can prove it, other people can prove it, other people can track it. I have timelines, I have timestamps, I have comparison of what I predict, which can be traced easily without fabricating videos, fabricating anything and claiming that I did it. No, I don't have to do that. And of course I like to debate. So I'm going to defend myself. I like to debate. That's why I went to law school, right? I am built for this. I am built to debate and to defend. So now that we're done with the politics, please be kind when you comment, because I will be kind as well. But then if you come with aggression and mass, you are going to get a defense from me, because I went to law school for that, to defend, right? I am trained for this. I am trained to do this, right? So in any case, I digress. Let's go back to calm, right? Let's go. So the very first thing that is clear to me from this synastry is, in terms of reasons why they broke up, and of course everything is alleged, right? Because speculation, astrology, I do see money problems. I do see huge money problems. I also do see a lack of trust. And it started, sorry, my voice, is gonna start again. And it started around, it's been like about 2 years now. These problems have been ongoing. And I also do see there are implications, or there are annoyances or ill advices from Katy Perry's camp. That's what I see. I also do see scandals from that's what I say, like Katy's camp, either her friends, they are knowing of scandals, or they are hiding scandals relating to Orlando, right? But I also do see that discussion, of something that it might have happened and all of that, right, regarding Orlando and regarding Katy Perry's friends and what they talk about, and within that, closed circuit. Now, when it comes to the second point, I do see him finding faults with her, or finding faults in what she does, particularly also relating to her job. So it could be also maybe because she has to travel a lot, she's not available, she has to be doing stuff, or she had been lacking she had been lacking involvement, maybe due to the job, or because of the job, or the job is not profitable enough, like something relating to those lines, right? Now, I also do see that, as I said, according to the synastry, it's been happening for about 2 years, these problems in between them. And of course, this is the final breaking point. Why? because both of their vertexes are activated at this time. Remember, when I talk about vertex, I'm talking about the breaking point. You will learn this in the class that I will give, and how to anticipate a huge event just using vertex. Now, what I do see here is that his progressing Mars is actually opposite her vertex right now. This is why when we talk about Mars, we're talking about breaking up, we're talking about cuts, we're talking about fighting, arguments, disagreements. That's what we're talking about. We are obviously also talking about passion, right? But because the passion is now with Neptune conjunct with her Neptune, we know Neptune dissipates things, but at the same time there's Mars, her own Mars, meaning that it is really a battle. And because it's in Sagittarius, it is about war. A lot of people who are new in the astrology, or who focus on the positive astrology, they don't know that Sagittarius is also a sign of war. This is why the symbol has the, that arrow and bow, because it's a soldier shooting the bow. So we must remember this, but I will teach you guys all of these things in the course, so that you are able to analyze a chart in a deeper perspective, not in these light-hearted ways and that are obviously advertised for feeling good, because we must feel good, right? So I do see a lot of lack of commitment since these 2 years, because also her progressing certain, because certain is about commitment, right? It is also being impacted by this Mars, like his Mars. And as I said before, when Mars and Saturn get together, they can do great things. However, when they fight until the end. Now, another important thing is that her progressing Venus right now, that's why it's Capuch. It's actually conjunct with her Rahu, and of course this is why she's traveling. She's all over the place around the world, because the Rahu is about foreign things, foreign places. However, it is also affecting her or impacting her 8th house of marriage, of shared life together, which activates her Chiron, as you can see, which is also in the 8th house. Chiron is the wounding. We wound, and when it's impacting with Venus, that is wounding in love, or wounding because of love, or wounding spouse, right? Simple as that. And with his progressing Venus, it is conjunct with his own 8th house as well. Same factor, same thing. But what's important here to note is that he's got his vertex in that 8th house, vertex activating the 10 around of events, like I've explained. Now, what I do see, who's going to win, who's going to lose in terms of divorces, because when it comes to these divorces, many celebrities, they fight, they take many years, talking about money, custody, and all of these things. I do see Orlando Bloom having a bigger muscle due to the fact that he's got his son Mars all in the 12th house, facing the 6th house of litigation, divorce battles, law cases, legal cases. So he's got a lot of strength. Those planets are impacting that house or highlighting that house. And when it comes to his ascendant, because he's a Capricorn, one would expect obviously that Sun and Mars do not support him and act against him, right? But he's got Mercury here as well. Mercury facing the 6th house, which is originally owned by Mercury, and Mercury is favorable to Capricorns. So Mercury is able to send enough negotiations or enough thinking intelligence towards that house. However, yes, he's got he has to face a lot of hidden enemies. Like there will be people working towards him losing, and they're going to be powerful because Sun and Mars in Sagittarius are heightened in terms of strength, in terms of muscle. So he will have to face quite a lot of stuff, particularly because he's got his own progressing Mars in the 12th house, amplifying his own problems to their team. But he's got his Saturn in the 7th house, which is retrograde into the 6th house, supporting that 6th house. So Saturn is supporting him, his own ascendant, because it's facing him, and at the same time is affecting or influencing the litigation part. So, and again, it could also be a long case because of the Saturn aspect. However, because it's retrograde, things could be sorted out sooner as it would be in other cases. Now, when it comes to Katy Perry, she's got her Lilith in her 6th house, meaning that she will have to take abnormal measures or eccentric measures in order for her to win or to push her legal cases, which would be likely the case whereby there are controversies around the legal case, or the divorce itself, whereby maybe she says something, she reveals some information that is shocking, and which would be like one of the reasons why they're divorcing. So that could be expected here. She is a Libra ascendant, so normally Libra ascendants, they like to have things sorted out in a diplomatic manner. So it is highly possible. It is highly possible that she wouldn't be the one who says bad things, but then other people around her would do that in her favor, or for her, maybe her friends or people around her. Now, I also do see that when it comes to their synastry, of course they were bound to have a baby, to have a child. They do have a daughter because they have a conjunction of their moons, and remember, moon and moon, they want to nurture together, and at the same time they do have a conjunction of their Mars, which of course is passion, sexual life, making it good. And at the same time, her moon is trine with his Venus. Again, that nurturing is there. Now, the biggest problem was always the not the problem, but the challenge. The biggest problem was always how they love. Basically, they have a square of their Venuses, which means that they had to make so many compromises to make their marriage and their relationship work. However, I do see that ever since they gotten together, Katy Perry's career exalted, not exalted, but increased, like her status increased due to being with Orlando Bloom. So Orlando boosted her career, or her being with Orlando boosted her career, whereas Orlando's career plummeted being with her. It is due to her chart that actually brought a lot of misfortune in terms of his own progress, whereas for her it was going all the way up because he places his Saturn in her 10th house, making her stronger in the profession, because Saturn is naturally owning the 10th house. So he really boosted her. They do have conjunctions of their fortune, meaning that they would have wanted or would have liked to accumulate wealth together. However, his fortune is with Neptune, which again indicates money problems, huge money problems in this marriage. And there is also Ketu, her Ketu, as well. Now, Ketu with Venus and Fortune she's got in the second house, meaning that she is and Uranus, she is able to, be rich and rich, really rich, because Ketu, as I already explained so many times, is that it does not say you're gonna be poor. It does not say leave the money, go and be spiritual and have nothing and be poor and wear poor clothes. No, it just says that at some point you could be broke, but then you will regain that money, because when Ketu is in the money house, like second house, you are born to have money, so that because that is your destiny. Why? Because it is the karma from the past. Maybe in the past you were poorer, and then you worked and you worked and you never got to reach to enjoy money. So in this lifetime, Ketu is here to give you and reward you with all of these monies, but then you need to learn not to worship it, not to make it your god. That is the lesson, to detach, like have it but in a detached manner. Particularly with Venus, you're really definitely gonna be rich, you're gonna be famous. I have seen it in so many charts of these celebrities. It's given. I'm ready to debate with any astrologer who says no, with Ketu you're gonna be poor. I'm ready to debate. Now, when it comes to this, another square that they do have is that her moon is square with his Saturn, meaning that there's a lot of obligations that and responsibilities that made them to not agree and to be apart, particularly with taking care of their child. There's something that they did not agree about. Maybe they didn't have the same rules or parenting rules or views. That's also shown here. It is also shown because you can tell that most of the time he would have liked to have a respectable family whereby they are known, like as that family unit, family people. But then for her, she's focusing more on herself, she's focusing more on her career, just herself, pushing herself, her own goals, just about her, everything about her. So they didn't really agree on those things. Now, I also do see that her Mars is with his Sun and Mercury, bickering arguments, many arguments here, and heated arguments are shown by this. However, they had nice other aspects, like her Venus is trine with his Saturn, and her Saturn is trine with his Venus, which are absolutely necessary or nice to have a loving relationship. So you do see this was a relationship of love, but also a normal relationship, you guys, like whereby people fight, right? But there was love for sure. It was not a stunt. It was not a relationship of publicity stunt. No, there was love, but then there was also hope of good things, of pushing the back together. But at the same time, she became bigger and brighter and more successful in terms of career visibility, whereas he was shrinking due to her chart overlaying on his chart. So that's it in a nutshell. I wanted to show why they are breaking up right now, looking at those progressions. Of course, we could talk about transits as well. Right now, we do know that Saturn is in Pisces. It just entered Pisces. It is with Neptune, and for her, it is in the 6th house, meaning that the divorce, as I said earlier, could be could linger longer. But I was looking at his natal Saturn, but the transit is confirming what I'm saying. But with her Lilith and with his retrograde Saturn, they could have shortcuts. They could find ways to shortcut the litigation or the divorce. I also do see, because of that transiting Saturn, the scandals being heightened, and perhaps also about her job, her profession, because for her it's the 6th house again coming up within with the transits as well. And with him on his side, of course, he's got that Saturn and Neptune in his 3rd house. Right now he wants to revive himself. He wants to focus on himself. There are projects that he's focusing on, or that he's gonna be coming up, and he wants to put all of his efforts on that, or he's going to start to do that, and he's going to be successful actually, because Saturn in the 3rd house works pretty well. So in the next 3 years he's empowered. This is why he could also have the bigger muscle in terms of efforts towards winning in his life right now. We also do have the nodes, right? Because we have the Rahu transiting the Aquarius and Ketu transiting the Leo sign, and for her Ketu is in the 11th house and Rahu in the 5th house of what? Intimacy, passion, all of these things. But because this Rahu here, it brings scandals to 5th house things, and also to controversies, so controversies around also children and around those topics of dating, going out, all of that. At the same time, it is opposite his vertex again, that vertex being conjunct with his with Ketu, with the transiting Ketu again. Both transits, actually both, not both, but 3 times the transits, the natal and the progression, they all speak the same story here. Like, I don't have to read everything, like everything is just saying the same thing, affirming the same thing, because for him, the Ketu right now, if I'm looking at his Ketu, it is in the 8th house. What is the 8th house? Marriage, life shared together, and it is breaking because Ketu is a distancer, right? And he is focusing on money. He is focusing on making money, as I said, which is also, being confirmed that 3rd house, Saturn transiting there, he's focusing on making money. There are projects he's focusing on right now, and he is going to be successful. He's going to make quite a lot of money. What else am I saying? And of course we have the Lilith in Libra right now, and for her it is on her ascendant. Controversies, just controversies all around, and for him it is the 10th house, public image. So it means that there is some scandal that is going to come up, and it's going to come up from her or from her camp about him, or from her friends. There is that's going to come up. And I also do have the Pluto in the Capricorn, transiting the Capricorn. For him, that is him, the ascendant, and for her it is the 4th house. So again, argument at home, home life there. And we also have the Chiron transiting in the Aries sign, which is for him the 4th house, and for her it is the 7th house of marriage. 4th house is of home. Again, painful things, painful stuff being done to themselves, behind the scenes, that have been going on in the household there. So huge painful problem, painful fights, harmful fights, hurtful fights, huge here. I also see that. And of course, when it comes to properties, it also means that property is going to be another factor that they're going to fight about, or they're going to argue about when it comes to this divorce. That is very clear. And of course we have the Jupiter in the Gemini now. For him it is in the 6th house, and for her it is in the 9th house. Now the 6th house, it is the divorce house, and for him it's going to bless him, because Jupiter and with Capricorn, it is quite favorable. So again, giving him a muscle to win more in this legal fight. Like I mean, as I said, of course, just from looking at the natal chart, I didn't even have to do transit. I didn't even have to do progression to see who would win. You know, this is how you can just look at a chart and know what will happen in the future, everything. And then of course you can confirm by looking at the transit and the progressions, because that could change depending on where they are. Now, what else am I seeing? We do also have right now, as in now, Venus transiting the Taurus sign, and for him it is the 5th house, whereas for her it is the 8th house of scandals, 8th house of abuse, 8th house of controversies, and it is right there with Chiron and Rahu for her, and for him it is the 5th house of intimacy, opposite his Neptune. What do we know about Neptune? What do we know? Now, what else? We have Mercury transiting Cancer, and for Mercury in Cancer, for him it is the 7th house, and for her it is the 10th house. So I do see him also blaming her. So they are blaming it's her blaming him. So there's something that she is holding against him, and he didn't appreciate that. He found it too emotional. He finds it too childish, so to speak. We also do have, what else is transiting right now? We also have Sun in Gemini, again 6th house for him. Of course we're gonna know about the divorce, because Sun exposes things wherever it sits or wherever it touches, like I always say. And we do have Uranus in Taurus, again for him, changes, sudden changes, disturbances, instability concerning his 5th house of intimacy. Oh la la. And it is conjunct with his progressing Saturn. That's commitment, my gosh, just coming up and disturbing the commitment. And for her it is the 8th house again, so her 8th house is highly activated, but it has malefic planets all around. So ladies and gentlemen, love lovers, that is the reason, and I will chat to you soon. And by the way, he's progressing, the progressing Ketu is conjunct with his Pluto, transformations, deep transformations happening. I'll chat to you soon, Abiento, and do sign up on my website for now. Oh, by the way, I will reinstate some access to the people who had subscribed on the website, because now I want to give access for them to the new stuff that I'm going to put up in preparation for the course, because as I said before, it was a subscription that is a lifetime, so it doesn't go away just because I close it. I'm going to reinstate that, and you guys will have access to these things. So thanks again, and I'll be in touch. Ciao. Just an end note, it's not, or it wouldn't be surprising for Katy Perry to run for presidency at some point, or to be considered for presidency at some point, or even have a billionaire status herself, or like own a huge company, like lead a huge company. It wouldn't be surprising. She's got all the indicators for such things. So yeah, just a side note.